Look out at my father's imperium. Do not unroll a parchment map or analyze a hololithic star chart. Merely raise your head to the night sky and open your eyes. Stare into the blackness between worlds. That dark ocean, the silent sea. Stare into the million eyes of firelight. Each a son to be subjugated in the Emperor's grip. The age of the alien, the era of the inhumane is over. Mankind is in its ascendancy, and with 10,000 claws, we will lay claim to the stars themselves.
Konrad Curze, better known as the Night Haunter, and sometimes referred to as the Dark King, was one of the 18 Primarchs created by the Emperor of Mankind in the late 30th millennium. Konrad Curze is kind of an interesting character because he's fucking evil. So Konrad Curze, yeah, this is going to be a bit of a doozy because some of his lore is a bit complicated, other parts are relatively simple. So let's get started with his childhood, shall we? So his childhood doesn't really have a whole lot to it. He ate babies and ate rats and killed people, yeah, but later on in his adolescence, he would become a very, very, very fearful entity within the city of Nostromo Quintus, the capital city of the planet Nostromo. Now, Nostromo as a planet is a planet surrounded in perpetual darkness. The people there have relatively pale skin, and basically it's imagine just every VTuber ever that doesn't go outside. Anyway, so going on about that, Konrad Curze noticed flaws within the aristocracy of his planet and realized that Nostromo needed new leadership, and he would call out the rulers in open forums and would threaten their lives. And eventually people began to become so afraid of him that he eventually eradicated the High Council of Nostromo and became the first ever king of Nostromo, taking up his throne room and all that jazz. The thing though with Konrad Curze is that yes, he is very evil and he is a very like he is one of the worst fucking people ever. Like, he tortures people, he murders them. Sometimes it's implied that he does other things to them. Yeah. So anyway, going on from that, he became the king of Nostromo, and he led a very fascist, like totalitarian regime that was self-reliant on obedience and fear. This man would constantly be he would murder people on live Vox broadcasts for fun. Like people who were committing petty crimes, like he would just skin them alive. Oh, did you take your hand out of the cookie jar? My skin is now yours. That's essentially what Konrad Curze did in general as a Primarch or as the king of Nostromo. But the thing is that whenever he became the king of Nostromo, he actually made Nostromo better. Okay, so I know that we've talked about how evil he is as a character, but here's one of the weird things about Konrad Curze is that he has a very twisted sense of justice. That's the thing, right? Is that he's evil. Like, there's no question about it. He's arguably one of the most reprehensible and evil motherfuckers in Warhammer. Like, almost as evil as the leader of the Dark Eldar, but we're not even going to touch him today. He became a fucking tyrant, but he was an efficient tyrant. Eventually, the Nostromo solar system became one of the wealthiest shipping lanes in the sector, and this caught the eye of the Emperor. Now, the Emperor came to his world clad in gold, followed by Rogel Dorn and Fulgrim and Ferrus Manus. Now they had approached Konrad Curze about this, but here's the thing: Konrad Curze knew that the Emperor was coming. You see, Konrad Curze was born with a special innate psychic ability that allowed him to see into the future, and he would be constantly shrouded by dark visions of the future. He would see the coming of the Emperor, the Imperium's fall. He would see everything, and it drove him essentially mad. Eventually, he would gain a reputation throughout the Great Crusade, and as he was given the Legion of Space Marines known as the Night Lords, otherwise the 8th Legion of Space Marines. Now, the Adeptus Astartes, under Konrad Curze's command, were about as evil as he is, if not worse. Sometimes even Konrad Curze would just kill his own men if they gained any pleasure from the killing of others. It's pretty fucking hypocritical, if you ask me. So a lot of the Primarchs did not like Konrad Curze. In fact, almost everyone hated him. Now, there was only one Primarch that ever saw something in Konrad Curze, and that was actually Fulgrim, surprisingly. Fulgrim taught him the Imperium doctrine. They taught him how to properly command troops and all of the things necessary to wage war across the cosmos. Now, Konrad Curze had a very interesting strategy for how he would deal with insurgent planets. He would kind of scare the shit out of them. He would never have the Night Lords fight a battle that they knew they couldn't win. They only fought in battles that they knew there was a guaranteed victory. And they just wanted to wreak terror and havoc into the enemies of the Imperium. And it was very efficient, as Konrad Curze would conquer planet after planet and would just fucking reap and wreak havoc across the galaxy. Now, of course, we all know that Konrad Curze does end up betraying the Emperor and ends up becoming the heretic we know him as. But what exactly did he do in his time as a heretic or an ally of Horus? Well, he almost killed Fulgrim, and as punishment, Rogel Dorn blew up Nostromo, the planet, as punishment, essentially. So, in retaliation, Konrad Curze then kidnapped Vulcan, of all people. Yes, that Vulcan, the big 12-foot tall motherfucker, with the big ass warhammer, and also happens to be the kindest out of all the Primarchs. And Konrad Curze stabbed him in the chest with a fucking fork. Yeah. Eventually, Konrad Curze tried to enlist the help of Perturabo to break Vulcan, but this did not work because Vulcan's a Giga Chad. All right. I think that's very adamant here that we can infer that Vulcan is a fucking badass, which I kind of want to do a video on Vulcan because his lore is actually really fun. And he's also arguably the most wholesome out of all the Primarchs. And that is something we'll discuss, because I think I might need a bit of a palate cleanser after reading so much on Konrad Curze. Which, by the way, read Night Hunter and the Void Hunter trilogy. They're actually really fucking good. Now, when it came to the things he did through the Horus Heresy, he would wreak havoc on the Imperium's worlds and stuff like that. But the thing is that why did he betray the Imperium? Well, so from what I understand from the lore is that Konrad Curze betrayed the Imperium because he saw what the Imperium would inevitably become, and he was convinced by Horus and his machinations to betray the other Primarchs. At least that's from what I understand. Okay, let me actually do some research here to actually correct myself if necessary. So, okay, correction for the lore previously. As it turns out, the reason why he betrayed the Emperor was pretty much very simple. They blew up his home planet. Yeah, that checks. Anyway, so going on about the war of the Horus Heresy, the thing is that he became obsessed with like instilling fear within the Imperium itself, and he was getting haunted by visions left and right. And during the Horus Heresy, he would be a part of the Ishvan III atrocity, the Battle of Ishvan III, and I believe the Drop Site Massacre. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure he was a part of the Drop Site Massacre. If he wasn't, please correct me in the comments section below. So the Night Hunter, he did not fall during the Horus Heresy. In fact, he kind of went off and tried to form an apotheosis to demonhood, and basically he tried to go off and try to become a demon prince. Instead, he was killed by a Calidus temple assassin by the name of Meshen on the planet of what is it pronounced? It's Tsag Gulasa. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure, but the 18th Legion had built a fortress there, and after the Horus Heresy, Konrad Curze was driven nuts by these visions of the future and the past and everything, and they weighed heavily on him. But then eventually the Meshen ended up catching up to him and killed him in cold blood. Now, throughout his entire life, he had possessed a gift of the psychic foresight. He was constantly struck with powerful visions of the worst possible futures. It wasn't just one future he was seeing all of them, but in a random order. And this would lead him to become mad, and would lead him to form this weird philosophy of the fucking Imperial Creed, and would just like wreak havoc across the Imperium. He wouldn't take orders correctly. He was a mess of an individual. Like it was ridiculous what he was. So now, he apparently, from what I understand, he was involved in the Drop Site Massacre. Now, basically, he fought alongside Lorgar, Alfarius, and Portorabo during this battle. And the Drop Site Massacre is kind of a long thing, so we won't really get into it here in this video. If you want to see more videos on like actual like battles in a Warhammer and actually like summarizing stories, we'll do the Drop Site Massacre sometime soon, but it's a very long story. But Konrad Curze became infamous among all of the Primarchs, no one liked him. Like, not even really Horus even liked him, if we're being completely honest. Now, the thing is, did Konrad Curze ally with the Chaos Gods? So, surprisingly, no, he actually did not. And the thing is that the thing that makes the Night Lords so interesting is that they don't actually actively like the Chaos Gods. In fact, they believe that the Chaos Gods are only to be a tool used to instill fear in others. And they're not real, they don't really view like worship chaos in the way the other Chaos Space Marine factions do. I kind of want to do a video also on Konrad Curze and the Night Lords, or just the Night Lords in general, because the Night Lords are a very interesting faction that I personally adore. They're one of my favorite traitor legions, because the Void Hunter series like fucking fleshes them out and yeah, fleshes them out. See what I did there? You see what I fucking did there? Yeah. But yeah, the thing is, Konrad Curze was a genuinely interesting character, and I think I want to see more of the Night Lords after reading these books. So GW has said multiple times that they are going to bring back the Primarchs in some way or capacity. But the thing is, with Konrad Curze, it's pretty set in stone that he's fucking dead. Like, it's there. Like, it's confirmed. There's a body and everything. He is dead with a capital DEAD. Like, he is dead. But only time will tell. Personally, I'd love to see another character take over the Night Lords, as the Night Lords after Konrad Curze's death have become spread across the galaxy, dividing themselves into different war bands. And would it be interesting to have a leader-like figure that could unite them under one banner, similar to how the recent stories with the Lion are, and how he's united the Fallen and his old legion under his own banner after he's returned to the 41st millennium. And I think it would be really interesting to see that story unfold. Now, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I will catch you guys next time. I am still working on the Magnus video, but I kind of want to do some more other experimental content in the future. So be aware of that these videos are going to take more time as I'm doing more editing stuff and like trying to like manage my time properly. So I apologize if this video was about a week late. So thank you guys though so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, make sure you stay healthy and stay happy. Bye guys.